Hey guys, Andy here. Let's talk about Lego. I found out by researching the L gauge standards online at I think it's l-gauge.org. And apparently, I've been doing my ballasting all wrong according to that standard. Now, what you're looking at now is what they recommend for a Mills plate for a double track on a 32 by 32 plate. Of course, this is a 48 plate and but I made it 32 wide and had to compensate for the extra 16 studs on going the other direction. But this right here is very, very part intensive. I mean, there's a lot of parts going into this, a lot of 2x2s underneath. You got plates and it's just, there's a lot of parts in it. Because I was thinking, I'm like, well, why am I ordering hundreds of 16 by 16 plate for my ballasting when I could be doing it like this and saving myself the 16 by 16? But in reality, I think it's probably cheaper just to do the plating because there's so many parts involved in this particular setup. And the advantage to having the 16 by 16 plate underneath is that your track will, well, hold on a second. Let me do the ballast part. Okay, so here's the ballast part. It only tacks down on in these two spots here, and then these two spots on this end. And I had to put the one in the middle myself because they didn't even suggest putting that there, at least not on the Mills plate instructions. But with the 16 by 16 plate, this would tack down all the way down through. So it would be better that way, I think. So I don't know. This whole ballasting and Mills plate stuff has got me totally confused. There's so many different ways you can do it, and so I was like, well, maybe I'll just do it this way because I mean, like, you see the green plates only on the edges where you're going to see it, and then there's gray in the middle, and I decided against what I did here too because I'm like, if there's two tracks together, there's going to be stones underneath it realistically, and the stones are going to go together. There's not going to be greenery in between. So I'm going to get rid of that and make the middle gray. But thinking about that now, if I do that, then I can't use the 16 by 16 plate because it would be green on the outside, but then in the middle it would be green too, and that wouldn't work. I want to make the middle gray, or I could just put gray plate on top of the green in the middle. What do you guys think on that dilemma? Like I said, this is way more complicated than I ever imagined it was going to be. I'm definitely not a big fan of this Mills plate thing right here, the way they've got it. It is so part intensive, and the track barely gets tacked down. I mean, yeah, you could add, because they got tiles here instead of plates. I added tack down point here and over here, and because they just had the two here at the end and the two here at this end. So I added these, and then these 2 points. Now, the regular ballasting page on that L gauge website shows you to put the points right here and here without that's the page, just the ballasting page, not the Mills plate page. So it differs. But anyway, just wanted to check in and give you guys an update on this, and maybe comment section down below and let me know what you guys think is the best way to do this and the least part intensive and all that good stuff. Well, after much thought and debate with myself and tinkering around with both setups here, I have actually decided to go with the L gauge standard, which I know is part intensive, but when I was trying it the other way with the using the 16 by 16 plates, I had to add extra parts to bump it up another plate anyway. So it's like, well, it's probably about the same amount of parts anyhow, and this is less plate, so I ran out of I used the last 4x8 green plates I had there. Actually had to use one 4x6 and a 2x4 to complete this, but this is pretty cool because this will go. See, I actually modified the original standard here, because I added these two and these 2 points, which will land right on the seam of each piece of track where it'll tack down. The original had these two, and then nothing else. Actually, you look at the Mills plate one or the ballasting one. The ballasting one has 2 in the middle as well, but I thought it'd be better to put them on the 2 seams there in the middle as far as tack down points. So this thing should go right down like that. Nice. This whole plate is like really sturdy. I mean, I'm trying to pick it up with one hand here, but yeah, I mean, it's really sturdy. It's much sturdier than the one with using the 16x16 plate. So I'm pretty happy with it. Of course, I can't connect it to this because it's a plate higher now. So I'm going to redo all this in the new way with according to the L gauge standard, where it's going to have gray in the middle. So I'm going to have to come up with something to put in the middle besides greenery or trees. I guess probably nothing. Maybe some rock, like some 1x1 round studs or something, just to indicate like gravel or rocks or whatever. I don't know. That or just nothing. So maybe some weeds coming through. But yeah, that's what I've decided to go with. So hopefully by next update, I'll have all that switched out. And this means I'm going to have to order some more 4x8 green plate. I kind of wish I could cancel my order for the 16x16 plate now, but I doubt Lego will let me do that, even though it hasn't shipped yet. But once it's in the warehouse, they tend to frown upon cancellation. So we'll see. But anyway, that's going to be it for this update. Thank you guys for watching.